there are newspaper reports going back to April of 1896 when a group of Marines played against American expats in Seoul. Later that year, the Marines also played the Seoul Athletic Club. So, the game was first sort of maybe planted there, back in the 19th century. But it really started to take off amongst the Korean population on the peninsula after the Second World War. You had the influence of the US military who was playing the game. They were providing equipment to people. And then South Koreans started to take and engage in international competitions, both in Europe, in Asia. And as Korean teams became better in international competitions, the game really started to become, popular in South Korea. And, so much so, and, you talked about sort of the political side of things. Park Chung-hee reportedly saw baseball as a way to improve relations with Japan. But when we get to the early 1980s, you have in 79, of course, the assassination of Park Chung-hee. Chun Doo-won comes to power, and he really pushed baseball as part of a policy to try and take and bring the country together and sort of give his regime legitimacy. And so there is this sort of political underpinning to the beginning of the professional league in South Korea as well.
I think ultimately it's a lifestyle for you and your family, depending on the player you are and the age and where you're coming from. I don't want to say it's a magic formula for a foreign player to be successful, but you really have to buy into it. And the guys that are there, I don't know if hungry is the right word, because you see those guys leave the US and they're, say, a AAA major league guy. We call them a 4A player, whatever you want to call them. They're kind of hungry in their career, and they get that opportunity when they go over there and they're actually considered somebody. And here they kind of a lot of guys get left behind because the system is so deep here. There's so many players. And when they get a chance to go over there, they're actually considered somebody. And so if you really buy into that and you're hungry about being successful, those are the guys that are successful.
The teams are named after the companies, but they're also for a region. So for some of my friends that are from Busan, they're like, I became a Lotte Giants fan because that's what I am in Busan. So they're like, I couldn't root for anybody else because this is my region, this is my team, this is where I'm from, which is very similar to such as for myself. I grew up in Pennsylvania, so I'm a Philadelphia Phillies fan, Eastern Pennsylvania. So it's just from where I was from. But then I did talk to a couple other of my friends, and they said, well, I live in Seoul. My family members work for the LG Corporation, and we got free tickets. And when I was a little kid, I used to go to their games. So that kind of employment aspect of being company owned came into play there for somebody like that.
The fans in the US and the MLB fans don't realize that the KBO fans are, they love you no matter what. And it's amazing that, you can just be really bad and they still are cheering for you. You can be, you can have a bad game and they're still there. They're still screaming. Just that feeling makes you feel really good. Where, in an MLB game, if you're down by 10 and you're a pitcher and you're out after 3 and you've given up 10, you're getting booed and, you're the worst person. And so, I guess I could say that, it was always a good feeling, that when I had a bad game, that the fans were still there for me. And from the analytics side, I think MLB has seen this for years, and it took them a long time to figure out how they were going to use the analytics and all the data that's involved in the game now. And then I think it's a domino effect between MLB, Japan, Korea, and you kind of see it it makes its way around. And so, when it got to Korea, it was young. And I think we're starting to see, that transition a little bit here where the KBO is still trying to kind of figure out how some of this works. And there's going to be a balance.
So when I talk to the players, we're very thankful that America, ESPN, and MLB people are supporting KBO right now. it is good for some of the prospects who wants to maybe go to MLB someday. Can be a great promo to KBO, but more importantly, a lot of the players, all the players, I guess, and also the people working in this industry, we're trying to be safe and also want to be more responsible in everything. For example, we of course want to show a great quality of the game because it's airing to ESPN, and also we feel like, you know, we're the hope to other league and other country. So that's why a lot of people in this industry are trying really, really, really hard to be safe. You know, I like both cultures. I've been to MLB stadiums a lot of times and KBO as well. And I like it in a both way. I like it, you know, somewhat quiet and sit down and just like kind of relax and you know, relaxing more in MLB stadiums. And also sometimes like, you know, in KBO, I, you know, chant the song and I kind of like dance all together. It's more like a party style. So I like it in both way, but I'm not sure like in work because we have a long history. KBO has a long history, and also MLB itself has a very super long history of baseball culture.
I like the way it is. I kind of agree with what Esther has just said. I think it's two different cultures, so I don't think we would have to copy one another. The only thing that could be brought from KBO to MLB would be bat flips, and that's about it.
I love that the players show their flair, their own personality on that, and such as what Daniel just said, the bat flips. As a fan going to the games, I love the fact that everybody is singing, and no matter the score, they're chanting. So like in the United States or major leagues, if you're down 8-0, you're out after the 6th, 7th inning. In the KBO games, you're standing there until the 9th inning, until the final out, singing full throat, chanting, clapping. And then not only that, then to see the players then from both teams then after the end of the game come over and bow, thank their fans for attending the game and for coming out and cheering for them no matter the score. I think that is a great aspect of the KBO.